She was only 23, a beauty queen, a Miss USA hopeful from Philadelphia. Her name was Kada Scott, and in the early hours of a quiet Sunday, she vanished right after her overnight shift at an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. Her car was still parked there. Her phone activity stopped cold. No text, no call, no trace. And that's when people started asking what happened to Kada Scott. Before she disappeared, Kada had told her friends about strange phone calls she'd been getting. Voices she didn't recognize. Calls that came late, then stopped, then came again. She brushed them off at first. She was focused on work, her pageant dreams, and her family. But something about those calls felt off. Then, one man's name came up, Keon King. Keon King wasn't new to trouble. He had a record: violence, threats, and a pattern everyone ignored. And yet, he walked free. Neighbors remember him as quiet but strange. Always watching, always asking questions about people who didn't know him.
Going around in the internet regarding me and the Kada Scott situation. So if you are unaware, Kada Scott is a girl that went missing in Philadelphia on October 4th. So I did know Keon. He was my friend. I met him about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was also the local pharmacist. Now, me and my best friend, we were also mutual friends with Keon. He was our pharmacist. So one day Keon calls me, and keep in mind, I am in school, I am in Maryland, and he will usually just call me, just to check up and talk. So he calls me and he asks me if I know Kada. And I'm like, yeah, I know Kada. And he's like, oh yeah, I noticed that she lives really close to you. I'm like, yeah, she lived right in the back of me. And I'm not thinking nothing of it because he usually calls me and, we just be chatting. He'll call me about the people that be around because he is the pharmacist. I live in the neighborhood and he be in.
One neighbor even said Keon once called, asking about Kada Scott. He wanted details, where she lived, what shift she worked, why. No one knew. But that phone call now feels like a warning everyone missed. It was supposed to be a normal shift. Kada clocked in, worked through the night, and texted her family around midnight. Everything seemed fine. Bym. Her shift should have ended. Her car was still in the parking lot. Her phone went silent. Coworkers assumed she left early. But by noon, her family knew something was wrong. Kada wasn't the type to vanish. She was responsible. She always checked in. Her mother called, no answer. Her best friend texted, no reply. Hours turned to panic. By evening, police were called. Flyers went up. Social media filled with her photos, smiling, radiant. The face of a girl who had so much ahead of her. But behind that smile, something darker was already moving. When police reviewed the security footage from the assisted living facility, it showed something chilling.
Kill my baby. I don't wish this on nobody.
Police say that 21-year-old Keon King turned himself in here to police headquarters last night.
Kada, walking to her car, then a dark figure following. They couldn't see the face clearly, but what stood out was the car. A dark sedan, matching one owned by Keon King. He had been near her workplace before. He had called her days earlier. And now, the footage showed a car just like his seconds before Kada vanished. Police traced the vehicle. By the time they located it, King was gone. He'd vanished too. Police began searching that same day. They said they were following every lead, but to Kada's family, it felt slow. Too slow. Her mother went on live TV, crying. Her words were heavy. My daughter didn't just disappear. Someone took her. Volunteers gathered. They searched nearby woods, rivers, and empty buildings. Day turned to night, night to another day. No sign of Kada. Then something strange happened. A neighbor came forward. She said Keon King had stopped by her place days before Kada vanished. He asked again about Kada, what time she worked, who she stayed with. The neighbor thought it was odd, but didn't think much of it. When she heard about Kada's disappearance, her stomach dropped. Police questioned Keon. He denied everything, said he hadn't seen Kada in weeks, but his phone records told another story. Multiple calls to Kada, late-night texts, and one call right before her phone went dead. That was the last connection.
Go away, bitch. Don't come over here. Karen, call the cops. Call the... It's all these kids in here. Call the cops, you dumb bitch. He coming around the window. Go that way, Cameron. Yeah, bitch, go away, bye. Go away, bye. Yep, bye. Bye. Keon out here.
This wasn't the first time Keon had been accused of harassment. He had restraining orders. He'd been reported for stalking other women. Each time, the system let him go. Probation here, a warning there, and each time, his behavior grew worse. Kada's friends later said she once mentioned, "He's getting weird. I might block him." She didn't think he was dangerous, just annoying. No one imagined what he was capable of. If the courts had acted when they should have, Kada might still be alive. He should have been in jail. Days passed. The media picked up the story. Hashtag spread, hashtag find Kada Scott posters covered bus stops, malls, and grocery stores, but behind every smile on those posters, her mother saw the same fear. Time was running out. The search team brought in dogs. They combed through miles of wooded trails near Chestnut Hill. Still nothing. Then, about a week later, an officer noticed something unusual. A patch of disturbed soil behind an abandoned property, half covered with leaves. They dug, and there she was, Kada Scott, buried in a shallow grave. The scene was heartbreaking. Her jewelry still on, her uniform still visible. The silence that followed was unbearable. Her mother fell to the ground. Her brother screamed. The search was over, but the pain was only beginning. 2 days later, police found Keon King hiding in a motel outside the city. When they broke in, he didn't resist. He just sat there, calm, like he knew this moment would come. In the back of the patrol car, he said nothing. No apology. No tears. Investigators said the evidence was clear. His phone location matched the burial site. His car had traces of dirt from the same spot. And surveillance showed his vehicle following Kada's that morning. When they replayed the footage frame by frame, one image stood out, a shadow moving behind Kada just before the screen went dark. That was him. The moment everything changed. When police released the footage, the internet exploded. It wasn't long, but it said everything. In one clip, you see Kada walking toward her car. She's tired, still wearing her scrubs. Then a dark vehicle pulls up. She turns, startled. Within seconds, she's gone. That video spread everywhere. People couldn't stop watching. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. It wasn't a random attack, it was targeted, planned, calculated. Another clip later surfaced, Keon caught on a street camera harassing another woman days before Kada vanished. That was the moment people snapped. How was he even free? How many warnings did they need? The same questions flooded every post. The same anger burned in every comment. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse. They held candles and photos of Kada smiling in her pageant sash. One sign read, "She should have been planning her future, not buried by it." People blamed the system, the same one that let Keon out on bail, the same one that ignored past victims. District Attorney Krasner said the court set the bail, not his office. But the public didn't buy it. They were done with excuses. It wasn't just about Kada anymore. It was about every woman who reported a stalker and got told, "We can't do much." Every family who begged for protection orders that came too late. When Kada's mother finally spoke after the disappearance, her voice broke. She said, "My baby worked hard. She loved people. She helped the elderly. And now, she's gone because someone didn't do their job." Her words hit like a punch. Raw, painful, real. She thanked everyone who searched. But she also said something that stayed with people. "I want accountability, not sympathy." That one line echoed across social media. It became the message of the movement. Accountability over sympathy. Kada's story isn't just another headline. It's a warning. How many times do we see the same pattern? A dangerous man. A system that looks away. A woman who pays the price. Every time. People promise change. Every time, nothing happens. This time, the anger feels different. Because there's video. There's proof. No one can say, we didn't know. Kian King now faces charges kidnapping for ransom, false imprisonment, tampering with evidence, and more. But no sentence can bring Kada back. The community that once searched for her now fights in her name. There are murals of her smile across Philadelphia. Candlelight vigils that end in tears and silence. People still whisper, she should have been Miss USA, and maybe she would have been. She had the drive, the grace, the light. But that light was dimmed by someone who should have been behind bars long before that night. Kada Scott's story is one that hurts to tell. Because it didn't have to end this way. If justice worked when it should have, she'd still be alive. If someone listened sooner, she'd still be smiling. Now, all that's left is the truth. He should have been in jail. And the footage shows why. If you believe stories like Kada's shouldn't be forgotten, share this. Say her name, tell her story, and subscribe not for views, but to keep attention on the truth that too many ignore. Because silence is how this keeps happening. And this time, we can't stay silent.